Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rev Talk. This is Reverend Beverly, and I'm going to introduce Reverend Kim to give us what we're going to do today.
Hi, everyone. Oh, excuse me. Okay. This has come up for me, and I'm sure it's come up for you as well. And I've had issues sometimes with family members, and I'm not going to name names because they'll come back at me. It's always interesting to see, and in places that I've worked and in talking to people, there is always this judgment, this, well, you're not doing it the way you're supposed to, or you're not saying it the way you're supposed to, or that's not the right way to go about doing something, or, fill in the blanks, whatever. That comes from, well, we've all been kind of raised to look at things as a good or bad. And when you reach a certain level and start going like towards 5D, that needs to dissipate, and changing your thought patterns from that. If something is bothering you about somebody else, you need to look inside yourself as to why. It's not them, it's you. It's kind of like along the lines of triggers. There's a reason why you're triggered by something. It has nothing to do with that person. It has to do with your development and what's going on inside of you.
That's actually really good because, again, everything goes back to triggers. Then you go to judgment, and it's really not judging because you're angry at yourself for something, which hit the trigger. Therefore, you struck out at the person you loved because you don't understand why the trigger, why the judgment. And as you stated, when we're in the 5D, it's very interesting. There is no black and white anymore. Everything's gray, and it's all new. And we have to look at the world through those eyes before we start judging, before we try to control, it's interesting because I see it in the younger generations right now is the liberalism. And I'm not saying good or bad. What I'm saying is there's no other for them. That's what it is. They've lost the ability to research and come into the gray area instead of just seeing it in one avenue. And this is what's happening with the younger generations. And I see they owe me. The government owes me. They owe me. Mom owes me. Dad owes me. Nobody owes anybody anything. You're responsible for yourself. Up until 18, your parents are supposed to guide you, train you, and educate you so that you can be a functioning adult at 18. It takes time. You're going to have your learning curves, but that's nobody else's fault. That's now your responsibilities.
Well, and here's the other thing too with that, along those lines, which is something else that I learned. You chose your parents. You chose them before you came here because there were lessons to learn. Do not blame your parents if you haven't figured it out.
But that's exactly what we said last time was it's no one's fault. It's yours.
Right.
Don't blame others. Take responsibility.
So when you're in that mind space of judging someone, of saying, you could pick anything from the news and it's like, well, they're just bad people. No, actually, they're not. And if you want to take it a step further, they are an extension of you because we are all connected. So there is something in that behavior or what they're doing or what you're seeing, again, the trigger. What is it inside of you that you don't like or that's triggering you? It has nothing to do with that person, except for the fact that they are there to trigger you, to help you on your path. So instead of looking at that person saying, oh, they're evil or they're bad or whatever you want to say, you get to thank that person for bringing it to your attention, for saying, okay, I don't like that. Why don't I like that? How do I figure this out within myself? Thank you so much for bringing that up and taking a step back.
That's good.
At the bigger picture. You have to step back as much as you need to in order to see that that person is not evil.
It's like you said, take a step back, and why is it triggering you?
Right.
And sometimes you just don't have the answer, but it was enough to make you still.
Exactly. Oh, that's good. I like that. There is no chaos, there is harmony. If you're still seeing chaos, step back even further until you see that harmony. It's not random. Nothing is random as far as
Right.
it's the universe is not random. And every bit of kindness that you put out there has an energy to it. Every kind of anger that you put out there has a kind of energy and vibration to it. The choice is yours as to how you're going to live your life, what you're going to contribute to the energy, and what your legacy is, how you're going to leave it. And that's why I've continued to say, and we both continue to say, you are that powerful to make that
Yes.
kind of change. You are that powerful. So stop doing this, oh, I'm just going to distract myself by looking at my phone, and I'm going to just, read whatever and bring it all in, pull it in, get quiet.
And listen.
Yeah.
The answers are there. And with this full moon, I found I did a lot of listening and a lot of audio coming in. And I'm sitting here, and if you just quiet yourself and just listen, I mean, it goes full circle. And your questions are answered, or your desires are answered, or your prayers are answered, but they're swirling because it's the energy. And it was really powerful this time. And I tried to do a crystal grid for the full moon, and I didn't get it until after the full moon on how to set it up. And I've got to get grids now, because no matter what the energies are, you can take any problem, any question, anything you want to know, put it in that crystal grid and let it go. And your answers will come to you. And it's not that you need a grid. It's not you need something to hold on to. You can physically feel, because the vibrations are speeding up so much, you can feel them.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got crystals all over your house.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be bouncing. No, maybe that's why you can't sleep.
Yeah, that's why I'm having so many dreams, right?
Right? But I have noticed they help. It's almost like a soothing addition to what you're trying to accomplish now by staying within yourself, instead of getting out here and letting other people anger you, and you lose that inner peace. And that's when you know you need to go back to your basics, and you have to ground, and you have to start realizing it's not me. It's not me. And then you're able to take a breath and understand all the things that are going on around you.
Well, and again, so about the full moon, here's the thing. And I read this somewhere, and I cannot remember where I read it, but 3 days before and 3 days after, there's that window of energy for the full moon. So 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after, that energy of the full moon is still with us. So, I again, it's your intention. So I think if you wanted to do a grid tonight, you could do a grid tonight, and the energy is still,
That's a good idea.
and it still matters. The other thing, let me see if I get my train of thought going. Stop looking outside of yourself for the answers. And I can be a big proponent of that as well. Like, I'll ask somebody, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? What do you think? And I have to stop asking somebody else. I get to trust my own instincts and listen to my guidance, owning my guidance, where I'm listening and accepting it that because I am that powerful as well. So
I
stop.
think that's it.
Stop, looking outside of yourself for the answers, because all your answers are within you. Every single answer to every single question that you could ever have is within you.
Yeah. That's very good. That is so true.
I mean, we are connected to our I am presence, to the divine, all the time. There is no separation. There is no, again, like I said before, there is no us and them. There is no them. There is only us, because we are all connected. So we are all connected to the divine. So when you're asking, you listen for the divine, because that is you as well. So it does get to be, it can be a little hairy at times. I mean, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not perfect. We're not meant to be. We are meant to learn. We are meant to expand our knowledge, enhance our lives, live in joy. We put so much.
We are love, and that's what we're meant to do.
Yes, that's what exactly. It's what we're meant to be. It is what we are. And recognizing that is our challenge, I guess, or the next thing we need to do is realize that we are love. It's period.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole, coming around to this, coming full circle, when you're, again, pointing your finger at somebody and saying, and looking outside of yourself at that person and saying, oh, what they're doing, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You get to open yourself up and
Right.
say, oh, you know what? I'll figure out why this triggers me. Thank you. Thank you for showing this to me, so that I can take care of this within myself and let it go and move forward on my path.
What a great, if I can only remember to do that, because that is exactly what we should be doing in any circumstance that triggers us.
It's easy. I mean, it's easy to get sucked into the emotion, of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We usually react instead of,
There you go.
instead of kind of pause. That pause, I think, is really important.
It is.
to stop. Because again, we are that
You
powerful.
don't want to react, you want to respond. And you can only do by taking a deep breath and centering yourself. And it's too easy to just immediately strike out.
Right. Right. I mean, we don't have to keep the conversation going at a certain pace. Again, we are that powerful that you can pause in a conversation and ask yourself or recognize, wow, there's something more going on here. Instead of reacting out of anger, fear, whatever, to say, thank you for showing me how to let this go. Thank you very much to whoever, whatever. And you don't have to say it out loud to them because that may trigger them. And it might not get,
But you're saying it to the oneness in them,
exactly.
From the oneness of you.
So you say it in your mind, you can say it and release it or let it go and have that closure with it. And the trigger may come up again. And you just get to say to yourself, oh, thank you for that reminder. And I'm not quite as triggered as I was in the past. This is good.
What I had read someplace, which I liked, every time those things keep coming up, your angels are pushing you on a path they want you to take instead of taking this way. And that's the same scenario because you're being triggered and then you want to rebel, but they're telling you to take this path, take the higher road. So to speak. And I like that when those things happen.
That's good. I like that. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's good. That works out really well. So again, I'm sure we will be triggered with bringing up triggers.
Yeah, that's what it's all about because everybody has them.
Well, we're seeing a lot of it, and that's a good thing because it just means that not only are we moving forward, the earth is also moving forward. There's a lot of triggers going on that gives us the opportunity to see it for what it is, as being a way to send love to it, thank it, recognize it, and let it go. I think if we all kind of did that a little more, and we'll get there.
We will.
The more
of us that keep doing it, the more that we'll do it.
Right. Exactly. So, my dear, what do you think?
I am complete. It was great.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And I would like you to understand that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another one just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends.
Bye.